What if, even in trying times, we have the power to be the change we want to see in the world?
Absolutely. Today we're talking about taking action, about stepping it up and contributing to positive change, even when it feels overwhelming.
Hi there, everyone, and welcome back to the Joy Without Justification podcast. We are your one-stop spot for finding peace, purpose, and presence. No explanation is needed. I'm your host, Denny.
And I'm your host, Dan. Things can feel pretty heavy these days, can't they? The news and headlines are bleak, tensions run high, and it's easy to feel powerless in the face of seemingly insurmountable challenges.
Absolutely. And the first step to recognizing that is that we all have the capacity to make the difference. It doesn't require grand gestures of any sort or any kind of superhuman strength.
That's true. Even small acts of kindness, compassion, and courage can ripple outwards and create positive change.
It's about, I guess, focusing on what we can control. Our thoughts, our words, even our actions.
Right. So let's say you're feeling frustrated by the negativity in the news. You could choose to engage in conversations that inspire and uplift or support organizations working towards positive change.
Definitely. So, what are you passionate about? What issues move you? Finding your spark is the key to taking action that's authentic and meaningful.
Maybe you're passionate about environmental protection, volunteering for a local cleanup, or supporting eco-friendly businesses, maybe helping in a food pantry or, at a church. All those things can make a difference.
Or maybe you're someone that just cares deeply about social justice. Donate to organizations promoting equality. Participate in peaceful demonstrations or volunteer your time to a cause you believe in.
So don't underestimate the power of community. Surrounding yourself with like-minded individuals can amplify your impact and provide support on your journey.
Definitely. Joining a activist group or even participating in online communities focused on positive change, like our podcast or our YouTube channel.
Yeah.
Had to squeeze that little plug
incoming. Plug incoming.
But even that can cause a change by simply connecting with friends or people who share the same values you incredibly empoweringly believe in.
Absolutely. Everybody has something that they care deeply about. Yeah. Something, and you want to be the change that you want to see.
Definitely.
So change starts within.
Yeah.
So you can find local groups. You can be that still small voice for your belief, and just get that message out there. Just participate in the change that you want to see, no matter what it is.
And that's the thing. I mean, you and I, we sort of were talking along that when we were thinking of what to do with this podcast.
Yeah.
When we titled it Be the Change. And there's a lot of people, and I don't care what your political belief is or whatever on it.
Right.
I mean, this isn't a political channel, so please don't even come at us with it. But there's times right now where a lot of people out there are scared, worried.
Sure.
What's going to go on? What's going to happen?
Right.
Be the difference. Don't give in to fighting and name calling and all the other baloney that's going on out there.
Yeah.
If you want to see a change in this world, you need to be the change.
Right.
You need to be the one that's like, you know what? I'm not going to act like this group. I'm going to be me. I want to see something different.
Right. And there is a time when you have to raise your voice loud. There is.
Yeah.
Depending on how things go. And, and that's both sides. Both sides are fighting. I think a lot of times they're fighting the same battle, doing it two different ways. And then there are some differences in the parties that are night and day. Okay. And, I don't want to get into all the political stuff. That would be on our other channel, the Random Reflection, if you want to hop over there. But everybody is always ready to fight and be nasty, and sometimes, I'll give you an example. I was having a conversation. It was at work, but it wasn't work related. It was just, out in passing and in general. And someone made a comment about something they felt fear of, and the person was legitimately afraid, and the person they were speaking to jumped all over them, calling them names and making it a political thing. Well, you're not helping that person. If you wanted the person to see your way of thinking, you surely didn't get them to by calling them names. But regardless, we need to work towards positive change in our world, definitely. And I think every party could agree on that. Okay, so let's talk about what everybody's facing right now: high prices. Okay, what can you do to get through this? What kind of change could you do, those who are listening, to make a positive impact? What's something that would be helpful to other people during this crisis? Because, we're not playing the blame game here, but what could you do? So, like for me, we were out yesterday and I was so moved. We were in our little town of Wintersville, and there was a homeless person standing there, and a young kid brought this guy food. And it melted my heart, because I always hear how bad, young people are lazy and young people this and that and the other, and every generation has done this. But he was making a change in that person's life. Now, all the naysayers will go, wow, he don't care, and he's probably rich and this and that and the other, and it doesn't matter. He got the joy of giving.
Yep.
And his blessing will come, whether you believe in an afterlife or karma or whatever. He got the benefit of doing something nice. And that's what we kind of need. We kind of need to return to being decent human beings and making those kind of decent changes. Sometimes just being nice to people. Hold the door. Make it a point to hold the door for somebody. Make it a point to speak to the elderly. Make it a point to go to a nursing home and pass out cookies. Because I, as a hospice rep, go into nursing homes. A lot of those people don't have family to take care of them. There are so many things that we could do to be a positive force in this world if we would just quit the infighting and other stuff. And I know a lot of us are busy and a lot of us don't have the money, but there's other things you could do. You could just go in and sing. You could get a church group together or form volunteers to go do stuff like that. I mean, and if that's not your thing, think of something that you can do to really impact somebody's life.
Well, one of the things, and this is getting on when you started talking about the high prices in the stores. one thing that's causing that is people are going into these stores out of the fear that prices are going to get higher.
Oh, yeah.
And so nobody anymore thinks about the other person. When I'm going into that store, I'm going to buy probably every dozen of eggs there is because the price of eggs is going to go up higher, and I want to make sure I have eggs.
We've seen that with toilet paper in COVID.
Exactly, and that's the thing.
Nobody else could wipe their ass.
When people buy stuff out and empty that shelf, and supplies aren't coming in quicker to cover it, the price is going to go higher.
Well, that reminds me of when COVID was going on, and I went down to our little store here in our town, and, everything was wiped. And I can't remember. There were certain things that they were saying was whatever. But I remember walking down the aisle, and this woman was in tears because she had Social Security, and there was nothing for her to buy. And how devastating that is, because these hogs had to go in there and just wipe everything off the shelf with no regard to if my neighbor starves, too bad.
Yeah, because people are just too greedy anymore.
They are.
And it's time that we see more people like that kid yesterday that are showing compassion for the other human being.
Yeah. Yeah.
We need to start being the change. You want to see unity and kindness and everything in this country? We need to start showing that compassion and love again for one another.
Right.
We need to start being the change we want to see in this world.
Right. Absolutely. And remember, change doesn't happen overnight. It takes consistent effort and patience and willingness to keep going when the progress seems slow.
Exactly.
So if you start being that positive change, you got to just maintain that attitude so that it has like a ripple effect and continues, going out.
Yep. So how can you be the change in these trying times? Reflect on your values. Identify a cause you're passionate about and take that first step towards being the person you want everyone else to be. Even if it's being friendly and talkative and not snobbish.
Yeah, absolutely.
We need to start being compassionate to one another and start becoming a society of loving, caring human beings again.
Absolutely.
No matter how small it may seem, we need to start buckling up, America.
Yes. And we'd love to hear about your ideas. So email us at joywithoutjustification@gmail.com. Let's create an epidemic of change. Let's create an epidemic of positivity. I can't talk.
You need more coffee.
I do. Let's hear some ideas that maybe we could promote, maybe even have you a guest on our podcast so you can talk about it. Let's push for positivity to make this world a better place. So email us with some ideas. Email us with what you're doing and how it's going.
So thank you for joining us today.
And tune in next time when we will be discussing living with a narcissist.
Oh, God. Until then, remember, you have the power to be the change you wish to see in the world. Stay positive, stay joyful, and go out and enjoy life. Take care of yourselves and make a difference. Peace out.